Hello everyone, this is Darin Martineau, and in this video I'd like to talk about 10 tips to improve your magic right now. You see, after doing magic for over 35 years, spending thousands of dollars on magic, and within the last 6 months I spent like $5,000 on magic, tricks, DVDs, mostly DVDs. As a creator, it's important to not get overly influenced. Why do I look at so much magic? To keep up with what's new, to look at the advances in technology and everything like this. There's many things to do. So right now I'm going to give you the top 10 tips on how to improve your magic. And the first thing is to stop trying to be your favorite magician, or stop trying to be something you're not. So you need to be yourself. And Shakespeare says, be true to thyself. Now, this is the difference between symbolic demonstration and literal demonstration. Okay, it goes beyond just looking in the mirror, and you need to ask your friends, and then you ask your friends in magic. But beyond that, you need to look to magic consultants and experts to find real feedback, whether that be an acting teacher, whether that be your mentor, someone that you can trust. So that's the first tip. Stop trying to be someone that you're not. The second thing, which goes along with that, is it's what Jeff McBride calls the smorgasbord syndrome. I call it the cover band magician syndrome, which is almost the same thing. And what it is it's stop copying other magicians' magic and pattern. Now, let's look at the reasons why magicians copy. In the beginning, as beginners, or even just as any magicians, we see magic, we see that it works, we see other, master magicians looking at their routines, and we see, that it's commercial, artistic, or we just happen to like it. But what we need to remember is that, only copy the qualities and the attributes, to not copy their magic, their signature pieces, and their pattern, their scripts, because it goes along with the first tip. You get stuck in a rut trying to be something that you're not. And there's only two kinds of magicians. There's imitators, which is the majority of them, which are false artists, and then there's innovators. So this is the difference between false art, normal art, and fine art. Our goal is to do fine art magic, which is the highest level. And to do that, we need to, it's not only be original, we need to, do true art to express ourselves. It's okay if you do someone else's routine, but you need to change it to make it your own, right? Now, tip number 3 is what I found after watching, thousands of videos and getting ideas, and just looking at not just the techniques, but looking at the overall routines. And this is a big one. This is the length of the routine. Okay, is it too short? Is it too long? Because this will depend on your performing conditions and other factors. But what it really is that if you're performing in restaurants, of course your routines are going to be shorter. But it's like the famous thing, the famous Chinese magician, on too long, or the jokes, which goes along with another thing, to get rid of the this is tip number 4, get rid of the bad jokes and get rid of the fast movements and the discrepancies, we'll say, right? And this is like the analogy of the sculptor, which Bruce Lee and other artists have used, Dai Vernon, is to remove all of the unnecessary things. Because we have useful, unuseful, and useless things in magic, and also in martial arts and different things. But we can look at it from an artistic standpoint. Is this really serving our audience? Is this really serving our purpose as an artist? If not, we need to get rid of that. There's a famous quote from Dai Vernon. I'm going to put it in another video. But it goes along with Michael Skinner, and it's this: be natural, slow, and fair style. Okay, so I will get that quote and I'll bring it back in another video. But basically it's very disarming. He says basically there's nothing more disarming than something that's a slow, fair style. I'll get the exact quote to you in another video. But That's tip number 4, is the pacing. Okay. So we'll go to tip number 5. And this is very important, and I'm going to explain why. You're going to see how all these things tie together. Tip number 5 is to be original. Now, when I say be original, I don't just mean be original in a generic sense, because, there's a lot of magic, and I think there's too much magic. I think where magic has now reached its second golden age, and I think with people like Shin Lim and other people, sleight of hand has now made a comeback. I've been waiting for this moment. This is just so great. I'm so happy, because I'm a purist and I'm a sleight of hand person. Now, I don't hate gimmicks. You have to start and finish clean, but it goes much beyond that. Most magicians I've worked with people on stage and all kinds of magic. Okay, I won't mention names, but the point is, I've seen some magicians, they only change the costume and the music, and they say, now look, this is so original. Oh yeah. And it's not enough, If I just change, or if the magician, whoever it may be, if they only change the costume and the music, now is that enough? No, it's not. Because you have the 3 pillars. You have the effect, the method, and the presentation, right? We'll start with the most important, the presentation. And I can go into all these different points. That's why I'm going to keep making videos, because there's so many things to go over. I can't put everything in one video. But I can tell you that be original has to do with not only the presentation, the scripting, and the plot, the subplot, the subtext, and we'll get into all these different things, right? In my book, The Surreal Illusion System, if you don't have that book, I highly recommend it, because I really cover a lot of this. And I have other new books coming out. And this has to do with, you need to check out our book, Brian Smedley, and called Magic from Scratch, because we really pinpoint the ways how you can be original, how you can really create new magic, right? Because there's a whole process that we go through, and we don't have time to get into that in this video, but I will make videos. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make 10 more videos after this, and I'm going to focus on each one of these 10 tips, and we're just going to focus on each one so we can really go into detail on this and give examples, not only in routines, everything, right? So that's tip number 5, is be original in every aspect, okay? Not only in technique, but in style, in mannerisms, gestures, everything. Okay, next tip is tip number 6. And this is a very important thing in magic. It's one of the first things we learn. And that is, don't just practice. Practice is not enough. You need to rehearse, but not only you need to rehearse, you need to do the whole testing processes, which goes from the creation of the magic to practicing it and rehearsing it on video. You go from the mirror to the video, then you go to the live audiences. Say you go to old age home, or you go to a school, or go into your community, and that I want to highly recommend. That's something that I see a lot of magicians, they just don't get it. I mean, some do, but for the most part, they think that they don't have to give anything back to the community or give anything back to magic, or you're just going to be a taker. You're just going to take and take, and you're never going to help anyone else out. I think this comes later in our life when we realize, it's all about giving back. So this has to do with rehearse. And rehearse is a whole process that we don't have time to go in this video. But like I said, I'm going to make other videos. We're going to go into depth on each of these things, okay? Number 7, tip number 7. Remove things that don't fit in your act, okay? This doesn't have to do with just, the trick or the discrepancy or the motion or the sleight or whatever it is. It has to do, if it doesn't fit you, you have to look at your, symbolic demonstration versus literal demonstration, which is the first thing you look at. You look at your character, you develop your character, and then you base the magic, the plots, the scripting, the props, everything. You go through a list of everything, and you base it on the character. If you just base it on the sleight, which some people do, and I mean, I'm not saying sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it works if you take, one trick from column A, one trick from column B, and one trick from column C, and then now you come up with something new. I mean, sometimes that works if you get the right, combination. I'm not saying that doesn't, but it mostly would fall into the realms of normal art, be like a cover magician. Sometimes that may work. If you're shooting for fine art or high art, you want to have these signature pieces that are your exclusive, that really set you apart. Okay, an example of that, Norm Nielsen. Okay, that's an older example. We could look at Shin Lim. He's got some awesome magic and how he created magic with this America's Got Talent. I congratulate Shin Lim. Shin Lim is awesome. Okay, if I go off on a tangent, I'm sorry. Now the next one is tip number 8. Tip number 8 is focus on your best magic. Now when I say that, I don't mean just your best signature pieces and the magic that you love, because we have all kinds of magic that we do, right? We have magic we do for magicians, for laymen, and then you tailor it to the audience, and you go into, whether it be kids magic, whether it be, gospel magic, whatever it is that you do, right? You want to do the magic that your audience loves the most, and you find that out through trial and error, right? That means if you're a beginner, you need to do as many shows in as many different places as you can, but you need to focus on the stuff that's you. In order to do that, you need to it's best to have a mentor. That's the fastest way to get good. And so that's what I'm offering you here, right? Through my books and through my videos and through my personal mentoring that we have, okay? Next tip is tip number 9. And that is use your real life passions into magic, okay? You look at the different artists, you look at the Mona Lisa and you look at the different things. The reason this art works is because they put their real love, their real passion into it. Let's say you're into, let's say you're into martial arts, or you're into sports. You're into baseball, okay, just as an example. Maybe instead of using cards, you can do a matrix with some baseball cards, and you can use, like a baseball production, have it come out of the picture. This is just getting creative, but this is something that you're really into. Let's say you're really into baseball. You can start off and you could use, some coins that you borrow, 4 quarters. It's best to borrow them. You could have some baseball cards that you come out and you say, here's a collection of some of my favorite baseball players. You can patter about baseball, and then use, you have the different bases. See, you have the home plate, and you can set it up, instead of a square, set it up like a diamond. I'm giving you good ideas here. And then at the end, you produce a baseball out of the cards. I'm going to make another video. I'm going to show you how you can go through the creative process and how this is just going to be really awesome, okay? So that is tip number 9. Use your real life passions and put that into your expression, into your art, into your magic, into your presentations, into your props, into everything, right? Next, and the final step for today of the best 10 tips is something I've noticed from watching so many magicians and watching so many videos, and just mostly from real life experience. And that is pocket management. A lot of magicians, they're digging in their pockets too much. Let's say they're doing a restaurant. You can't just go to a restaurant and then be like, okay, you do a table and then you're going to go to the bathroom. It's not that you can't do that. You can, but you're going to do that before you go to the table. It should reset, and by the time the trick is over, it should almost, if not always, it should be ready as you go to the next table. Everything is in its place, so that by the end of the effect, you're completely reset and you're ready to go with everything managed in your pockets. Now, a good thing you can get for that is called Scotty Vest. I'll put the link in the description. Scotty Vest. It's a way you can have a lot of magic on you, and you can organize it really well. And you don't even have to wear a coat. You can wear a vest. It's also like a travel vest thing. It's called Scotty Vest. Okay. There's a lot of other things. Like I said, I'm going to make more videos, and I'm going to go over each tip. Okay. Now, you have to tailor. This pocket management has to go with, you have to tailor your magic to the audience. Okay. And you have to look at the performing conditions, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be if you're a stage magician, whether it be you're doing table hopping or walk around, street magic. It's very, very important. These tips, and there's many, many more, but I just want to talk about right now how you can improve your magic by doing these things. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much, and have a magical day.